and oligosaccharides and so on, and how superactive they are. In other words, normal molecules work at a few milligram and higher dose. We all know that. Most of the known medicines, the active molecules will need several milligrams per day. But there is increasing evidence that these oligo molecules, such as oligopeptides and oligosaccharides, can work at microgram and nanogram. And a few years ago, there was a conference to look at the role of cell membrane constituents or cell membrane fragments in medicine and agriculture, and these are oligo. So I think what is happening is, in my cooking process, I am getting such oligo fragments. It means, in other words, my activity is not due to the known metabolites, because their amount in my oils is extremely low. But the oligos, as if it were, have the same message coded in them, looks like. And I get the same effects as you get with normal metabolites with these oligos. And this, I think, is the secret. So as I said, I made this first extract, and even that's a long story. When I first took it at a dose 100 times lower than the recommended dose, I had a strong side reaction. My eyes became red in a few hours, and I had acid secretions. In other words, anybody says that Ayurveda, therefore no side effects, that's a myth. Anything in high dose has side effects. Anything which has effect is bound to have side effects if the dose is high. Well, I discovered that even though my dose was 100 times lower than the conventional dose, but of course I had not realized then that I have produced something different. Then I reduced it to 1,000 times lower, and then there was no side effect. And then I started getting positive effects. The next 12 years, I only played around with this. First myself, my wife, and 2 sons, we took it ourselves. We found interesting results. So in India, when you do that, you tell your friends, and they know you are the leading guinea pig, so they're willing to try. So over the next 12 years, we found that yes, indeed, it gives resistance against cough and cold, not known in the literature. It's moderate anti-stress, which means today, children get asthmatic attacks even before a unit test. If they're taking it, they don't. Outstanding wound healer, this was known. In fact, this was called Divya because the book said it heals any wound, internal or external. We confirmed that. Works even on diabetic wound. Then, one day I discovered, again by curious exploration, that it lowers cholesterol. It doesn't lower HDL, it selectively lowers LDL and triglyceride both. And so on and so forth. In other words, it works at several tissue levels. In Ayurveda, such a substance is called rasayana, because it is saptadhatu vardak and promotes oj or vitality. And all of this at a herbal dose of less than 5 milligrams a day, which really is something unheard of. So that is kind of one universal effect. But then I tried it in animals, I tried it in poultry, and I even tried it in agriculture. Now, what happens in agriculture? Now, here is a bottle which contains 7.5 grams of oil made from 3/4 gram of the herb, so-called 10%. This much oil made from that herb is enough to spray 2 acres, please understand. In other words, the herbal dose required is 1 gram per hectare. Any other herbal material that is used in agriculture, you need at least a few kilos. So by the year 2000, I had a single extract which was universal in several dimensions. First, it was universal in many health issues. Secondly, it was universal in the sense it worked on all living systems, human, animal, birds, and crops. Of course, from biochemistry point of view, these are all eukaryotes, and there are certain common biochemical pathways common to all eukaryotes. So a biochemist may not find it greatly surprising. About 2000, I thought, okay, now I should do something. So by that time, I had left NOSIL and had come to Pune, and I had set up a project in the botany department of Fergusson College, where we had developed a simple germination test, where you have 0.1% agar solution, you put 10 seeds of whatever material, put whatever dose level, and after 8 days, look at the shoot length and root length. If it is increased, it's a promoter. If it is reduced, it's an inhibitor. Very simple. I thought I must check whether this is happening because this was Divya. Then I made something from aloe, its botanical cousin. That was also superactive. Then I requested a professor of Ayurveda to give it to 2 girls for dysmenorrhea. Aloe has many uses too. Normally, aloe is given, as I understand, at say 15 to 20 ml. Now this worked at 40 milligram. Again, a 500-fold dose reduction. Then I decided now I must try it in a variety of things. So from 2001, I started making such oils with the same, essentially the same process from everything I could lay my hands on. In other words, since you are reading Ayurveda, you say, okay, let me start with Trikatu. Ginger, long pepper, black pepper, then Triphala, Amla, Hirda, Beda. Then of course, Ova, Jeera, then all the regular ones, Shatavari, Ashwagandha, and so on and so forth. So net result is, in the next 4 or 5 years, I made more than 100 extracts of different herbs, plus extracts from other biomass. By that I mean, you can make an extract from any cell mass, whether it is mushroom, yeast, shrimp, doesn't matter. And then I even made oils from metal. Now, you would say, come on. So I said, look, let's try. By that time, I was an adjunct professor at IIT. So when I made my gold oil and silver oil, I could confirm that my oils directly get nanoparticle of the gold, silver, or whatever metal I use. Now, over the years, this has been given to volunteers because, I am not a doctor, so I can't put up a board and say, here is my clinic. But people come by word of mouth. Friends, and so on. I have to make sure I tell everybody I am not a doctor, I am making this in the kitchen, all those, informed consent issues. But they are willing to take it. And what I have found is, first of all, in all cases, whichever extract I have tried or combination, the dose is drastically reduced. Typical dose in Ayurveda is say from 1 gram to 30 gram. 30 gram is when you have to make these decoctions. Now, I need, say, 1 drop to 30 drops a day. And I sort of standardized to 10. 10 means from 1 gram of herb, I make 10 grams of oil by adjusting volume. So, my 1 drop is from 3.5 milligram of the herb, and that's all. Which means that instead of 1 gram to 30 grams a day, I need 3 milligram to 100 milligrams a day. And in terms of metal, my metal oils work at something like 0.1 to 2 microgram per day. And it works, it is not for any particular problem. It works across the board in GI problems, respiratory, circulatory, pain of all kinds, speech restoration. I even have some success in Parkinson. Mr. Kamdar is here. He was the first person to have benefited in that his tremor was functionally eliminated. Lately, I have found a number of persons with high insulin, their insulin dose we could bring down very substantially, and so on and so forth. In other words, by and large, the rule is if some combination is supposed to work in conventional Ayurveda, the same combination in this form also works. It's as simple as that. So, in that sense, but what I am saying is some of these effects that I have, according to me, are very rare in conventional Ayurveda, such as restoration of tremor in Parkinson, a considerable reduction in insulin dose. Please correct me if I am wrong. I may be, because then. And so, what do I have? Because the next question always is, have you done double-blind trials? Now, please don't ask me that question. First of all, to my best of my knowledge, even the hundreds of thousands of formulations of Ayurveda haven't undergone double-blind trials. Okay? So what am I doing? I am saying I can reduce entire Ayurvedic knowledge to this form. So if there are no double-blind trials for Ayurveda, please, do you expect me to do double-blind trials for my every extract? That's absurd. It can't be done. This is not at all practical. Nobody will ever pay for it. On the other hand, please understand what I am saying. If I say to you, as an example, take, say, 50 grams of onion and 50 grams of garlic, chop them together in so much water and so much oil, boil them off, and then you got an oil, which is a mixture of onion and garlic, right? And now if you have sinus, put 1 drop in each nostril. Do you need double-blind trial for this? I don't think you do. In fact, To start talking of double-blind trial for something like this is going off the track. According to me, your head needs to be examined if you talk like this. So I have anecdotal records of about 1,000 volunteers, dosage, clinical effects, and wherever lab results were relevant, lab results. Many documented cases of unexpected advances. Now, so far I have been able to convert one Vaidya. It's almost like a religious conversion. There is one Vaidya in Pune who is using it extensively in his practice for the last 4 years. He first met me because somebody told him, you go talk to this fellow. And later he told me, I thought here is one more eccentric retired person. But whatever he thought, whatever I gave him, he tried on himself. And he found it's working, so he tried on his son and he found it's working, and then he adopted it. And I taught him how to make these extracts. So he makes his own. I don't have to supply him anything. And all his new patients, once they get this, they don't want anything else. One leading homeopath in Pune has also tried this on, I think, about 20-25 patients with success in different areas. What I mean is, this is the database that I have, okay, anecdotal and so on. With agro, I have trials in agricultural universities. We have a lot of potted plant data from Ferguson College, botany, and general feedback from individual farmers. So now, for something like this, what are those hi-fi facilities? This is what you need. So what you see here, you have a normal blender. So you get these herbs from the market and you just chop them in the blender. If you don't have a blender, you can use a ragda. The point is, you have to reduce the size. That is definitely needed. Then on the left you will see that pot, ordinary cooking pot. So you take these chopped herbs with some water and oil, boil it. The only expertise is like in any cooking, you have to make sure it doesn't burn at the bottom. So you have to really, remember in this case, when you're making an extract of black pepper and long pepper, some of these have a lot of oleoresin. So you have to take particular care that it won't burn, by really scraping all the time. But that's all. That's the only. And secondly, as the bubbling slows down and stop, you have to stop, because otherwise the oil will rapidly go up in temperature and will burn. So these are the only precautions that you take. And then, as you can see, you have another vessel with a big strainer and 2 layers of cloth, and you filter. That's all. In other words, this process is a very simple kitchen technology, what you can call modified Fordni Tadka technology. This can be carried out. You don't even need a kitchen. You can carry it out even in a jungle. All you need a source of fire, a pot, and that's about it. And therefore, right, and you can see me doing this in my own kitchen, followed by pouring. I mean, this is really that simple. Okay, there is no hi-fi anything to it. It is a modified Siddha Tel technology, but it represents a major advance. We chemical engineers always talk of process technology. So what I say is, if you really look at major breakthroughs in the process technology of natural products, what is the oldest? Oldest is Churna and decoction, probably known 10,000 years ago. Next major advance was Asava, Arishta and Siddha Tailam, already known in Charak, which means at least 3,000 years old. After that, that means -1 millennium advance, right? So what was the next major advance of the first millennium? Bhasma. Because that drastically reduced the dose, eliminated problems of palatability, shelf life, portability, blah, 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 expanded the therapeutic frontier. That was in the first millennium.